Waitress looks down on me and calls me homeless, not knowing that I'm her boss. I'll start off by saying that I'm a simple guy. I don't dress well and usually don't care about how I look to strangers, so I often go out in my PJs or old sweatshirts. Now, when I was younger I started a clothing business which took off, and recently I opened up a few restaurants in the city to broaden my horizons. My so-called empire isn't that big, but I think I do all right for myself. One of these restaurants I gave to my nephew to manage, on the condition that he would give his 100% and use this as a stepping stone to gain experience as an entrepreneur. He understood the assignment and the numbers I saw told me he was doing well. Yesterday, I just had a random urge to check up on him and watch his managing skills in person. So I just grabbed a key to one of my cars and left, without bothering to change clothes. But I wanted to experience it as a customer, so I didn't call to let him know I was coming. Once I got to the restaurant, I opened the door and was told to wait in the lobby. As I was waiting, two different couples walked in, and were all taken care of and seated within 5 minutes. I thought maybe they had a reservation, and decided to give them the benefit of the doubt. One waitress looked at me, grinned and kept walking, which finally made me realize what was happening. Now, I don't expect A-class service everywhere I go, but I'm no pushover. The waitress was clearly discriminating against me because of how I looked. So I decided to confront her and ask why hadn't I been seated at a table even though I waited for over 30 minutes. She laughed at me and said, "Listen, I know you're probably here for a prank or to dine and dash, so just save yourself some time and leave." I was bewildered and told her I was just here to enjoy a meal. She countered by saying there's no way I could afford eating here if I can't even buy proper clothes. She told me to go back to my home, before pausing and saying in a sarcastic way, "I'm sorry, you probably don't even have a home." At this point I was shocked and completely speechless about what I had just witnessed. My other restaurants are known for having excellent customer service, and yet somehow my nephew had hired this waitress. When I didn't leave even after her words, she looked annoyed and said there are no tables available. I left fuming with anger. Never before in my life had I been so disrespected, even before I became successful. On my way out, I bumped into my nephew. He was surprised to see me here and asked when did I arrive. I told him that I was going to eat at this restaurant, but I just had the worst experience of my life, thanks to one of his waitresses. Then I pointed to her and asked him when he hired her. He said last week, and apologized to me before saying he's going to make it right. I was almost too angry to give him a chance and wanted to shut this whole branch down, but I reined in my anger like I would do in a business meeting. He told me to please believe him and eat dinner before leaving, and I agreed. As we walked in together, that waitress spotted my nephew and ran to greet him. She called him by his name and started small talk, not even noticing he was fuming at her. When she finally saw I had come back, she snorted and said, "Why are you back? Didn't you get the hint the first time?" I waited to see what my nephew would do, and he yelled for security right away. Then he turned to the waitress and said, "I am extremely disappointed in your attitude and behavior towards our customer. You are fired, effective immediately." She started screaming, saying that this wasn't fair, and he can't fire her for stopping a homeless person from ruining their customer's experience. He scoffed at her and said, "You didn't even realize that this man is my uncle, and owns this as well as 8 other restaurants in the state. I should have never hired you." The look on her face as security dragged her out was quite amusing.